Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about planet size comparison in our solar system. Now, you need to understand what planets in our solar system really is. And those planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And in comparison, we're going to compare each of the size of these planets. Each size of these planets in this size comparison. So, let's start with Mercury. Now, Mercury is the smallest planet. It's the smallest planet. And its year is 88 Earth days. And Mercury has the most craters in the solar system. What does craters mean? They're just tiny little dots, like holes in a planet's surface. And Mercury has no rings. In fact, these 4 planets have no rings, and these big 4 planets has rings. Now, Mercury is not the hottest planet. Actually, it's the second hottest planet. You'll see why. Now, next, Mars. Mars has the biggest mountain in the solar system, Olympus Mons. In fact, Olympus Mons is so big that it's bigger than the tallest building in Earth, which is Mount Everest. This is what it will look. This is Olympus Mons, this is Mount Everest. So, it has the biggest canyon in the system. It has the biggest canyon in the system. And Mars is red. Why is it red? Because its rocks are made of iron, which is rusted. That's why Mars is red in color. But Mars has other colors too. But red is the most color in Mars' surface. Now, Mars has no rings still, and Mars is the 4th planet from the Sun. And next, Venus. Well, Venus is the hottest planet. But you might think, why is it hotter than Mercury? Because Mercury is the first planet and Venus is the 2nd planet. This is because Mercury has no atmosphere. But Venus has an atmosphere that keeps the heat inside. And the other planet, Mercury, has no atmosphere and no moons either. And it has no rings, I tell you. So, Mercury's this part that is not facing the sun is so cold. Its temperature is negative. And the part facing the sun is so hot that it's so positive. Now, let's talk about Venus. Let's continue talking about Venus. Now, Venus has no rings. Now, Venus is a rocky planet. And these 4 planets are rocky, but these 4 are not. And Venus has no rings, I tell you, but Venus is so similar to the Earth, but Earth is slightly bigger than Venus. So next planet, what is the next planet I'm going to talk about? Yes, it's Earth, because I tell you that Earth is similar to the size of Venus. So, let's talk about Earth. Earth has the second largest mountain, which is Mauna Kea. I think that's Earth's largest mountain, but it is not the second largest mountain. Some mountains on Mars are big enough, and all of the Mars's mountains are big than Earth's all mountains. Now, and Earth is the only planet that has any known life. Any other planet in these or other planets that are out of these are not uninhabitable. Well, there are some planets that are habitable and some of them are super habitable. That means that are habitable than our Earth. Whoa, this is kind of crazy, right? Now, I'm going to talk about those in another video in the future. I think I can make that video, tell you. So, Earth. I'm talking about Earth, and in those super habitable planets, those have no life. But those are habitable, but we don't live there. Now, Earth is the third planet from the Sun. And Earth is 71% of Earth's surface is covered in water. And Earth has 5 oceans: Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Southern, Arctic. I make a video about that, and that's part 2. I'm gonna make that video in the future. Now, we're talking about the Earth, and Earth has no rings. Earth has only one moon, and the other planets has no moons, only except Mars. Mars has 2 moons, but those are so small. Now, Earth's moon is called the moon. This is kind of crazy because we know that Earth's moon is called the moon, but Earth's moon has another name. It's called Luna. And Earth also has another name. Earth's name is Terra. Now, Earth has no rings, but Earth has land. Earth has land. And Earth has continents. Earth has supercontinents and also countries, counties, states, provinces, etc. And Earth is in the habitable zone. What does that mean? Because a zone that is habitable, and Earth is the third planet from the Sun. I tell you, that means the third orbit is the habitable zone. Now, let's talk about Neptune. Neptune is so similar to the size of Uranus. But Uranus is a slightly bigger. And Neptune has rings. And it has a tiny little dark dot right here. And it's blue in color. In fact, Earth is also blue in color. But actually, Neptune is, I think, indigo? What do you think? Let us know in the comment section. Now, we're talking about Neptune, right? Now, Neptune is the smallest Jovian planet. What is Jovian planet? It's these 4 planets: Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter. And also, these 4 planets are called terrestrial. I'm going to talk about them in another video, and also a little about them in this video. Now, we're talking about Neptune. So, Neptune is the farthest planet from the Sun. You think Pluto is the farthest planet from the Sun? Well, it's not a planet. Pluto is not a planet, it's a dwarf planet. And Pluto is not the farthest. Eris is. Now, Neptune has the windiest temperature. Is the windiest planet. But not the coldest temperature because it's the farthest from the sun. Neptune is the second coldest. Now, Uranus. Let's talk about Uranus. Now, Uranus is so similar to Neptune, but Uranus is blue in color. But Uranus isn't that blue as compared to Neptune or the Earth. In fact, Uranus is sky blue. And these two planets are so similar, and these two planets have identical colors, and these two planets have beautiful colors too. Now, Uranus also has rings, but it's hard to see. In fact, these three planets' rings are hard to see, except Saturn. Now, why do I say except Saturn? Because it is the only planet in our solar system that's rings are easy to see. And that's why I draw them right. Now, these two planets have rings, right? I'm gonna tell you, no. And Uranus has the coldest temperature, but it's the 7th planet. And Neptune is also the 8th planet. But what's its temperature? Its temperature is negative 224 degrees Fahrenheit. That is so cold, right? Imagine that, how cold that is. Now, what do you think? Let us know in the comment section. Now, these three have a lot similar color, but in case of Earth, Earth is a lot smaller than these planets, these two planets, and I want to tell you a little something about Earth. In future, in this video, but in the future. Now, let's talk about Uranus. Uranus is so cold. So, now let's talk about the fact about Earth. Earth's core is 10,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Imagine that, how hot that is. In fact, if we dig a hole through Earth and jump, then when we go close to Earth's core, no protective suits will help us because it is so hot. Its temperature can reach up to 10,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, let's talk about Uranus again. Now, Uranus is so big, you think, and Uranus also has rings, but those are hard to see, I tell you. And Uranus is a blue color, and it doesn't rain diamonds in these 6 planets, except Saturn and Jupiter. I'm gonna tell you in a video about that. I'm gonna make a video about that. That why is Saturn and Jupiter Saturn and Jupiter rain diamonds? And if you know the answer, tell us in the comment section below. Now, Uranus is the 7th planet from the sun, I tell you, and Uranus is so far. Next, let's talk about Saturn, for example. And there's a lot to cover in this video, you know, because this is so long video, right? Now, Saturn. Saturn is a beautiful planet because of its amazing rings and its amazing color. But Saturn is the 6th planet from the sun. That means it's cold, right? Wrong. This is because Saturn, in a mission, a telescope was close to Saturn, and the sea is boiling fire. And that boiling fire's temperature was almost 2 times the sun's temperature. Well, the sun's temperature is 5,500 degrees Celsius. And the center of the sun is 15 million degrees Celsius. That is so hot. In fact, if I go there, when I touch it just a little, my toe, I will burn. Now, let's see what are these rings made of. Those are made of comets, not comets. Actually, those are made of small rocks. And Saturn has a big problem. Saturn's rings are disappearing. Now, Saturn is the second largest planet in our solar system, as you can see. Everyone knows who is the largest planet, which is the largest planet. Now, Saturn's rings are made of rocks, but let's see what Saturn is made of. Well, Saturn is made of, it's made of gas. And among these, hydrogen and helium are the most found in Saturn. Hydrogen and helium. In fact, Saturn's so many percent. In fact, that's a number, hash percent I'm gonna say, X percent. And X is so big, but smaller than 100% of it is covered with helium and hydrogen. And let's talk about the biggest planet in our solar system, Jupiter. Jupiter has the longest story. In fact, Jupiter has so long story. Now, Jupiter is the 5th planet from the Sun. Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system. And Jupiter is the 8th smallest planet. Because there is 8 planets in our solar system, and you can see when we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Jupiter is 8. Now, Jupiter is also made of hydrogen and helium, and this spot is bigger than the Earth. That's pretty big. In fact, in the past, it can hold 3 Earths, but now it can only hold 1 Earth. Now, Jupiter can hold 1.7 Saturns, because Jupiter and Saturn are pretty same. And I have to tell you just one more fact about Saturn, because Saturn's rings. And Saturn's rings are pretty big. If I want to draw them, it will look like this. And you might think, if that's this, then how is Saturn the second biggest planet? Second has to be the first biggest. Because you can see that this circle is bigger than Jupiter. As you can see, I draw. Actually, these rings are not part of Saturn. These are not part of Saturn, like the other planets. If this was part of Neptune, then Neptune wouldn't be the 5th smallest planet. It'll be the 6th smallest. Now, Jupiter can hold 1.7 Saturns, I tell you, and it also can hold 21 Uranuses and 23 Neptunes. It can hold 21 Uranuses, and Jupiter can hold 21 Neptunes. Actually, it can hold 23 Neptunes and 21 Uranuses. And Jupiter can hold 1,300 of Earths. That means 1,300 times Earth. And it can hold 1,500 or 1,500 Venuses. And it can, I don't know how many Mars or Mercury's it can hold, but I will see that. So, And these rings, when you look at Jupiter, in the real life, these are pretty hard to see. I tell you that because these three planets' rings are hard to see except Saturn. Now, when you see that closely, you see that some rings are there, and those are red rings. So, in fact, these two planets have rings. I tell you that, but no. Each of these are beautiful, but how beautiful they are so beautiful, so they are so dangerous. In fact, Saturn is dangerous than Jupiter. In fact, it storms. These two planets have no solid surface. In fact, these four planets have no solid surface, and those are made of gas. I tell you. And the storms are so amazing. In fact, this spot is actually a storm. Now, Saturn. Now, these two are storms, and the Saturn storms are dangerous. But how is that possible? Because Saturn is more farther away from the sun as compared to Jupiter, and sun's rays give power to solar storms. Well, the only reason for that is the boiling. The boil. That hot thing that I told about Saturn. That a telescope was close to Saturn and see the boiling fire. Now, let's talk about Jupiter again. Jupiter is so beautiful. It's amazing colors combination. And inside it, once upon a time, a telescope, actually that was a satellite or satellite's friend, was going inside. And when it goes so down, it actually explodes for that atmospheric pressure, or air pressure for short. Now, Jupiter is so big, but our sun can hold 1,000 of these, 1,000 of Jupiters. That means Jupiter can hold 1,300 Earths. I told you that. But that is nothing compared to the sun. In fact, if I want to draw the sun will be this big. In fact, it will be almost the size of this full board. That's pretty big. And Jupiter's atmosphere. Let's talk about Jupiter's atmosphere. Well, Jupiter's atmosphere is mostly made of hydrogen and helium. And it's the biggest planet, I told you. And this spot is called the Great Red Spot. In fact, it's not actually red, it's actually orange. Now, these combinations, I'm gonna tell you all of the color combinations of these planets. Now, well, Mercury is pretty simple, it's just black. And Mars is just red, but these lines divide those, and the landlocked parts are kind of red. Now, Venus is kind of a white or yellow or I don't know. But under its atmosphere, Venus is a boiling planet. Boiling orange planet. So you might draw that orange, and Earth's lands are kind of green, and it's water. Yes, it's blue. Now, Neptune is kind of a blue, and this had to be a little bluer. This had to be more blue than this. Now, Uranus is sky blue, and these rings are made of white, and Neptune's rings all are made of white also. Now, Saturn's rings Saturn is kind of orange, but I think the color I'm talking might be sky orange. I don't think that sky orange is a color, but it's kind of orange. Now, these rings are also kind of orange. Now, Jupiter. Jupiter is the biggest planet, I tell you. And Jupiter's combination is these parts are white, and this is kind of a orange, and these lines are white, and this is kind of a red. So this is what I'm gonna tell you in this video. I didn't talk all of the facts about these planets, but I'm gonna tell some facts in the future videos. So bye bye, see you. And I forget to tell you something, that don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the information bell so you don't miss our videos. And when we upload a video, you realize that we upload a video. So click the bell icon and press all. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time in my next video. So thank you. Bye.